Hello, this is Dr. Scott Harrington, DO, coming to you live from my virtual doctor's office, Vegan Primary Care, where you can see a vegan doctor as your primary care doctor virtually from most US states. Not just a one-time consult, but as your primary care doctor. Someone who will be your health advocate and get to know you. Because I'm licensed in most US states, if you move on the way, I move with you. You don't even have to change doctors. If you are vegan, then you can have a doctor who gets you. Of course, if you're not vegan, you're still welcome to be my patient. But beware, diet and exercise and lifestyle changes will always be my first recommendation. My goal is for you to take control of your health, and we will work together for you to get off your chronic medications through a healthy lifestyle. Before we start, I would like to invite you, if you haven't already, to explore the benefits of seeing your doctor virtually through telemedicine. Ask your doctor to see you through telemedicine. Once you've had a virtual visit, it's hard to imagine going back to a regular brick and mortar doctor visit. With virtual visits, you never leave the comfort of your own home. No sitting in traffic or running late, no being exposed to other illnesses in the waiting room. It's the future of medicine. We are currently live on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter, ready to take your questions. So let's see who's online right now. Okay, all right. Okay. All right. So we have 4 viewers right now. Hello, Natalie from Seaside. All right. Hello. We've got some folks at Vegan Primary Care Facebook page. We have got some folks already. Well, lately I've been doing a vegan burger taste test challenge. And so kind of wanted to report that. Some people ask, like Melissa Rogers asked yesterday on the test, which vegan burger is the best? Or are vegan burgers healthy? And lately there's been the Impossible Burger, and they're starting to have burgers out for fast food. And honestly, the burgers that are made to be more like meat tend to be more unhealthy. They tend to be high in saturated fat. For instance, I had this pulled up, a comparison of the Impossible Burger versus a regular beef burger. And did you know that the 4-ounce patty of the Impossible Burger actually has 14 grams of fat and 8 grams of saturated fat, compared to a regular beef burger, which has 14 grams of fat and 6 grams of saturated fat? So, I mean, actually, there are some negatives to the Impossible Burger, but 0 cholesterol. And so there are other problems. There's ethical problems with eating meat, environmental problems with eating meat. So definitely in the Impossible Burger wins out 100%. But in the end, the goal is to have, for health, one of those burgers that is more of a bean patty, more of a bean and rice or a sweet potato, or just a straight portobello mushroom. These are way healthier. But if you need to have some sort of transition and you can't, and you're having sort of a meat craving because you've changed to a plant-based diet, certainly a Impossible Burger or these kind of things are good for you, so that you don't kind of regress back to eating meat. But it is definitely a better option, but not something that you should stick to always. You want to use them as transition foods. All right. So we've got a question here. Let's see. Quinn Reed, why do you eat so many bananas? I love this. Well, one of the folks that I really follow is a Dr. McDougall, and he has a book called Starch Solution. And he suggests that humans are starchivores, that we base all of our meals on the carbs. And this may be, kind of going against the grain. A lot of people think, oh man, I can't eat carbs because carbs are going to make me fat. In essence, carbs are our fuel. We need to have carbs. But if you load your carbs down with fat, they're going to be unhealthy. So I love bananas, and I'm eating bananas all the time. I actually share my food logs with my patient through the 8 app. And it's great because people can see what I eat and I can see what they eat and we can make comments. So I'm always eating bananas because they're so sweet and they just, tickle my taste buds, that sweet tooth that we all have. And so when I've got a real bad craving, I love eating bananas. Now, I like the bananas that are totally brown and speckled. They're sweeter, and I get away with eating lots of those and help keeping my cravings at bay. All right, Quinn, I hope that answered your questions. There's actually someone online, Freely the Banana Girl. She's Australian, and she's got a lot of plant-based videos and stuff. And she kind of inspired me a little bit. She eats like tons of bananas every day. Now I think she's a raw vegan. I am not a raw vegan, but it's also a way that you can do it. All right. Well, let's see. We have Lisa. Okay, so thanks, Lisa. This question is, can I treat allergies and sinus problems through virtual visits? One of the major reasons why I'm coming on and doing live is that not everybody has been introduced to telemedicine visits, and it's great. It's so easy. I do it in my practice with Zoom. Everyone gets a electronic medical record and a portal where they can upload medical records or take pictures. If they hurt their ankle or something, they can put it up there. And so most medical problems can be dealt with online. And so things like allergies and sinus problems for sure. So it's easy to make an appointment at Vegan Primary Care. You just go to veganprimarycare.com and book an appointment.
You didn't tell what the question was. Make sure to read it out loud.
All right. I've got some feedback here saying that I did not read the question out loud. So do you treat things like allergies and sinus problems with virtual visits? Answer is yes. All right. Okay. I have another question from Richard Hubbard. Richard Hubbard yesterday asked a question about vitamin D and how is it related to COVID-19, and can it help to prevent severe infections with COVID-19? And the answer is that the evidence is muddied right now. I do recommend all vegans take B12 and vitamin D, B12 500 micrograms a day, and B12 vitamin D 2,000 international units a day, and B12 500 micrograms a day. Vitamin D is starting to show up on some COVID treatment protocols because everybody is deficient. Most people are. We're not running around without a lot of clothes on outside all day long. We usually spend most time indoors and away from the sun. And vitamin D is a hormone that is produced from sun exposure. So everyone should be taking this vitamin D. What they found, though, that muddies the waters in terms of COVID-19 is that a lot of the patients that have had severe COVID-19 problems have had low vitamin D. But the problem is that those same folks also maybe have other medical problems like obesity or high blood pressure and this and that. So is it the obesity or these other medical problems, or is it the vitamin D? We don't know. So a lot of the doctors are putting vitamin D on the protocols just in case. And I think this is a reasonable approach because it's safe. Vitamin D, 2,000 units of international units daily. It's safe to do, and it's probably helpful. Okay. All right. Okay, let's see. We've got Lacey. Okay. All right, we got Lacey Maxon Gibler. How much protein does a vegan woman who does CrossFit? Okay. Well, there's debate about how much protein you need, but the 0.6 grams per kilogram of lean body mass is what we require as humans. And overall, when you have a normal diet, you tend to get plenty of protein. This equals about 60 grams of protein for most people. And 60 grams of protein is very easy to obtain with a normal diet, plant-based diet. Beans and greens and grains, you're getting plenty of protein. You don't need to get this from animal sources. A lot of the folks in the CrossFit community, you got to love the CrossFit community. We're just as vocal as the vegan community. CrossFit folks and vegan folks are both want to tell you about their stuff. And with a normal diet, you can manage. But I know that CrossFit folks are interested in getting higher protein. They're interested in gaining mass. And so you will not gain mass unless you eat enough calories. And so you have to increase your calories and therefore you'll be increasing your protein intake. So you have to at least increase your calories to match your calorie expenditure from exercise. So Lacey, don't worry about getting more than about 60 grams a day. What we find is that people tend to eat too much protein. They tend to get over that 0.6 grams per kilogram of lean body mass, and it just creates more work for their kidneys. I forget where the analogy came from, but I really like this one. The idea is protein being building blocks. Imagine you have a construction site and your house is built and you needed bricks for your house, and the bricks are placed in the house, right? But imagine if those building blocks kept coming and you had truckloads of bricks and they put the bricks right in front of your house over and over again every day. You'd be like, oh my gosh, so many bricks. And then you'd have to deal with it. Well, your body's having to deal with it. Your body's having to deal with it through the kidneys. And so there's something like about 5% of your calories come from protein when you're an infant and you're really gaining in size. And so as an adult, there's no way that we need more than 5 to 10% of our calories coming from protein. That's just an excess. So hopefully that helps, Lacey. Okay. All right. We had some other questions. About, okay, how do you feel about fasting on a plant-based lifestyle? Once again, Lacey, how do you feel about fasting on a plant-based lifestyle? Fasting is a great subject, a great topic. I've done prolonged water fasts before. They're transformative, they're helpful, but you don't want to go on a water fast longer than about 3 days without some medical supervision. Now, there's a spectrum of fasting. So in some fasting, you're doing intermittent fasting, where you're limiting the amount of time per day that you're eating. And this is a great alternative to an extreme fast. And I recommend fasting for any lifestyle, whether it's plant-based lifestyle, whether you're on other diets. But the problem is like, how do you keep something up? And you won't be able to keep something up unless there's like a limited amount of suffering, and it's easy to do, and you can work it into your schedule. So this sort of time restricted feeding, where you decrease the amount of hours per day that you're eating and you give your body a rest, is really effective. Some of the studies show that people can eat garbage. I mean, they can eat really junky food, but if they're eating it in a smaller window of time, then they're coming out in the end healthier. So I tell people who want to take this approach to start your meal maybe at 9 a.m. or 10 a.m. and then end at, say, 6 p.m. at night. And then so you get a 12-hour, at least a 12-hour, sometimes 14-hour time of no food. So at night when you get hungry and you're wanting to, break your fast, instead just make some sort of warm, hot tea. Just don't put sugar in it, and you'll still be maintaining your fast, and you kind of get that craving to go away with some tea, non-caffeinated, some sort of herbal tea. That easy trick right there will help you if you're gaining weight unintentionally. that's an easy start for an introduction to the fasting through the limited time window. All right. Okay, so I had one patient ask me about the thyroid health and how much iodine that you need to take every day. Iodine, we have got, all right, for the iodine daily recommendations, we have, let's see, 150 micrograms of iodine per day, 150 micrograms of iodine. This is very simple to get with a little iodized salt. If you're using a salt, a sea salt or a kosher salt, sometimes it doesn't contain iodine. And for thyroid health, you want to make sure you're getting 150 micrograms of iodine daily. Now, the whole food plant-based movement, we're trying to get our vitamins and minerals from whole foods, and I totally agree with that. I absolutely totally agree with that. And so you can do things like nori sheets or wakame, the seaweed salad type of things, once or twice a week. That definitely increases your iodine. You don't want to go over the limit with iodine over 500 micrograms per day, because this can also cause an overactive thyroid. So definitely kind of keep an eye on that. If you're not into the sea vegetables, make sure the salt that you buy is iodized salt, and use a pinch here or there to help get your iodine intake. Okay. All right, Dipthi Prasanna, she asks, what would you say to someone who eats whole food, plant-based, who is borderline blood pressure? Okay, all right, Dipthi. I get this a lot. You know, as vegan primary care, I get a lot of vegans as my patients, although other people can come too. I mean, that's totally fine. But when I became vegan, when I became plant-based, all my medical problems went away and my blood pressure came down dramatically to 110/70. And that was just how it was, no matter what. And I become sort of frustrated if I ever get sick. I'm like, what? I'm plant-based, I'm vegan, you know, how am I getting sick? And so this is frustrating. You know, here you are, you're plant-based and you're still having blood pressure issues. So some of my patients who have blood pressure issues, despite being vegan, are really focused on protein, and they're eating so much protein, it becomes a concern with like blood viscosity and just the filter of the kidney having trouble with all of the protein. So watch out for that. If you're eating high protein amounts, such as, you know, I do recommend 2 to 3 servings of beans per day, whether it's with hummus or beans or lentils. So these are good. But if you're really trying to max that out, be careful. Another thing that I tell people is salt intake. A lot of processed foods contain a lot of salt. So some of the classics are with frozen meals and this sort of thing, or chips, soups will contain a lot of salt. And that's something that you really have to focus on if you're dealing with blood pressure. Simple reduction in weight over time will decrease your blood pressure as well. And mild exercise. Mild exercise can have a benefit for sure. So this is what I do recommend for everyone with borderline blood pressure. And I recommend this for all my patients, is to get a blood pressure cuff. You can buy them on Amazon now. They go on your arm and they automatically inflate, and they're very accurate. And they're more accurate than the ones that go on the wrist. But get a blood pressure cuff and monitor it. Monitor it a couple times, you know, see what it's like around the same time every day. And if it's chronically over, say, 135/85, it might be reasonable to get treated or call in, get an appointment. If it's over 140/90 chronically, then you should be treated until something can be managed with the diet. sometimes and rarely people have what they call secondary causes of blood pressure, where they have narrowing of the renal artery, the artery that goes to the kidney. So the kidney doesn't feel like it's getting enough blood pressure, so it raises the blood pressure. Or sometimes, rarely, people have epinephrine, catecholamine secreting tumors in the adrenal glands, where they're getting these stress hormones really up a lot. And then also a classic is if you're snoring real loudly at night from having sleep apnea. That puts a big stress on the body, and people will have elevated blood pressure from that. These people will wake up with a headache in the morning, and sometimes they'll fall asleep while they're at the wheel. If you have this problem, you should get evaluated for sleep apnea. It will change your life. Absolutely. All right. So, all right, we have 20 visitors right now, 20 visitors. I am so impressed. If you're on Facebook or YouTube, smash the like button just to give me some love and put in a question. Okay. Let's see here. If you're just joining in right now, my name is Dr. Scott Harrington, DO with Vegan Primary Care, coming to you live from my virtual doctor's office, where you can see a vegan doctor as your primary care doctor virtually from most US states. All right. Depthy, I definitely look forward to being your doctor if you want to. There is a booking site, a booking link on the front page of the website, and just check for a time that is easiest for you. Okay. Okay, let's see here. One of the things that we have going on right now is we're going to try to do this every week at Wednesday, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I just wanted to get feedback if this was a good time, if this was better, maybe we should move it to lunchtime. And so later we'll put out a poll and we'll see which time works best for most people, so that I can reach the audience at a most convenient time for you. And we'll go from there. Okay, so we have a question from Kim. Kim Howe. Okay, which US states are you in? Okay, so I'm in over 40 states. I have licenses in over 40 states. I've worked for online urgent care companies called AmericanWell.com, which helped me get a lot of medical licenses. So I can see patients in California and Alaska and Hawaii and in most US states. So I'm getting more and more licenses every day. And like, for instance, Michigan is going to be my next license. And we keep applying. And so the goal is all 50 states, and then we're going to try to get Puerto Rico and the other outlying territories. And so the goal is that even if you move, then I can be your doctor because I can travel with you. Now, this brings up the question about online primary care. Is this even a possible thing to do? Yes. When you see a primary care doctor, what are they doing mostly? They're managing your preventative care, making sure you've had vaccinations, getting testing to rule out things like colon cancer and just preventative stuff. And if there's a problem, talking with your primary care doctor and getting you sent to specialists if needed, and then managing and advocating for you. This specialist says this, and this specialist says that, or this specialist's medicine causes heartburn, and what are we going to do about that? So having a primary care doctor is the home base, your medical home base, and having someone who does it online where it's more convenient for you, and in case you move, so you have good access this way. So I currently live in Florida, and so most of my patients do come from Florida, but I currently have folks in Colorado and California and Oregon and all over. So, okay. Thank you, Kim. Okay. All right. All right, Jen or Jeannie, do you know how to specialize for vegan athletes? Absolutely, absolutely. So I'm in the military. I'm currently a reserve medical officer, and I have served active duty in the medical corps, served with elite soldiers, and so I've worked with elite soldiers. Done. A lot of people don't know that I'm airborne. I've done the military free fall training, parachuting, done scuba diving training. So I'm also a dive medical officer and a flight surgeon in the military. So I've worked with elite athletes in extreme conditions. So I can provide services for folks who are performance athletes and that sort of thing. Thanks, Jen. Sorry about that, but looks like I got it right. Okay, Michelle McCater. Do you take private insurance? Yes. My goal is to be nationwide online primary care taking insurance. I currently have applications for insurance out in several states, Oregon, California, Texas, and Florida. And right now, Florida is the ones that have come in so far: Medicare, Cigna, and TRICARE East. Now, TRICARE East covers many states, but we have lots of applications out, and it's just slow. I don't know if it's coronavirus, if it's that, but it is being slow. Just keep an eye on my front page as things come in. More and more insurance companies come in. I will announce that. We just got TRICARE East, so TRICARE East Standard and Select. So if you have been in the military or family members in the military, they have TRICARE East and Select or Standard, then sign up. All right. Jen has asked, what specifically about dancers? Well, Jen, I think you'd have to be a little bit more specific about that in terms of dancers. I can answer specific questions. I know that being a dancer is like being an elite athlete. A lot of times there's pressure to maintain a low body weight and that sort of thing. That can be reasonable, but sometimes that can be dangerous. I know there's a lot of body image concerns, and so you just have to be careful about that. It's very important when people are trying to cut weight, or especially in females, that you maintain. If your body fat can go too low, sometimes that can be a problem. That can cause a lack of menstrual cycle, and in the long run can cause osteoporosis and bone thinning and so that sort of thing. So actually you want to make sure the plant-based diet is one of the things that I recommend for folks trying to maintain bone health and bone density. Calcium, we should be getting at least 600 milligrams of calcium, and you want to get it through your diet. Greens, beans, and grains being the highest foods for calcium. I don't recommend calcium from milk, and the high protein from animal products and milk actually can indirectly leach calcium from your system by creating an acidic environment where you lose some calcium through the urine, believe it or not. That's why it can cause kidney stones in some people. So definitely recommend a plant-based diet for athletes. A big one that's come out lately is a movie called The Game Changers. It highlights, a lot of times it's kind of geared towards male athletes, but there's also female Olympians highlighted in that movie. If you haven't seen it, I definitely recommend it. Okay, if you want to sign up for Vegan Primary Care, simply go to veganprimarycare.com, and at the very top there is a make an appointment site. Just click that, and it's a Calendly link. You can go in there and you can pick any time that's most convenient for you. I've really enjoyed your questions today, and I want to say thank you so much. All right. Hold on, we have a question. Okay. All right. I want to say thank you for participating in this live event with me, Dr. Scott Harrington in Vegan Primary Care. I look forward to doing a weekly broadcast to answer your questions. Currently, I'm scheduled for next Wednesday at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard. If you'd like to see this broadcast at a different time, like during lunch, then let me know. Once again, thank you for your questions, and I look forward to seeing you next week. Bye-bye now.